Yeah, alright, fuckers and fuckheads. Now, I've been hearing a lot since this NSA/Prism thing. I've been hearing a lot about this Tor browser and, you know, protecting your security on the web, whatever. Okay. Well, I had a lady this morning that was bragging about she was using it. Of course, she was bragging about this right on Facebook, which I thought was hilarious as hell. In the process of the conversation, I just kind of kept my mouth shut because I hate texting back and forth, you know, and this iPhone shit. Yeah, it's great for voice command if you're dialing stuff, but I don't think it recognizes my southern ass accent when I'm trying to do that voice to text on it. Now on these computers, I mean, they like me, but even with this fucking pen, I don't feel like doing this iPhone shit most of the time. I will, but, you know, mostly it's just, oh, fuck, that's funny, alright, share that son bitch. Pretty good article, alright, share that son bitch. In days like today, you know, I can't be using my headset because I'm working on some other stuff. But, okay, first off, granted, the Tor browser compliments of its proxy, and I'm going to say this for my fellow nerds, I'm going to make this easy for everyone else, and I'm not really going to mention the proxy very much, even though you guys will understand that that's what I mean, except that I'm trying to make this simple for those ID10T errors that we always have to deal with. For the benefit of those ID10T errors. But anyway, okay, first off, if you're running Microsoft Windows, anything, I don't care what. No. First off, let's cover the cell phones. Yeah, you can go on Craigslist and you can get a little cheapy, you know, used iPhone or something that it's already tagged to somebody else. And then go down to Walmart, get you one of them little prepaid AT&T Go phones, activate the sumbitch, rip the chip out right away, put it in your iPhone, give AT&T a call and they'll activate the chip for your iPhone, and tell them your name's Bubba. Well, because of the nature of the scope of the monitoring that they do, it's only a matter of time before you call enough of your familiar contacts that they'll pretty much narrow it down to it's you calling them. You can always go to random payphones with prepaid phone cards and pray like hell that none of your friends are being listened to, I guess. You can go to, oh yeah, if you're paying attention to the screen in the background, this is the correct use of Microsoft Internet Explorer, www.mozilla.com. Alright, and then you get that Firefox screen. Continue. Oh hell, I need to change the date on this. That's the correct use of Internet Explorer. And you just go on ahead and download you some Firefox or some Opera or whatever, because Internet Explorer itself isn't safe. Truthfully, if you're trying to hide from the government, you stand a snowball's chance in hell in this day and age. If they want you, they go find you. Now, for those of you who pay attention on the Tor website and changing your web browsing habits, yeah, if all you're using it for is to go on the internet and cruise the internet without actually logging into anything, bingo bango. But now let's get down to nitty gritty. Say you're trying to hide yourself. Well, if you're smart enough and you're running Linux and you're using wireless cards that allow you to change your MAC address, great, good for you. You stand a better chance. But if you're running Windows anything, pretty much when you fire up that machine, you're screwed. They've got you. Especially with Windows 8. Have you ever noticed on Windows 8 in its default configuration it wants you to create an online account with Microsoft or sign into an existing Microsoft Live account? Well, hey, the second you sign into that machine every time, you've tagged yourself, whether you wanted to or not. Because if they're watching Microsoft, or actually if they're watching your router by MAC address, they know that the traffic just happened. And these home routers, don't count on them hiding your machine. I mean, even these better, well, half-assed better AP isolation incorporating Wi-Fi oriented routers, hotspot specifically made for hotspot routers. That's the simplest way I can do that. Even those aren't too good at masking your machine. The average script kiddie on Hasta La Vista can tell you 10 ways through any fucking router. And if they can do that, you better believe that the NSA knows how to do that a lot quicker and a lot easier. As does the rest of the government. If they want you, they'll get you. And now back to the mistake that lady made. It's kind of simple, you know, by the fact, you know, if you, like I said, if you're just cruising the web, that's great. But by the fact that they're monitoring Facebook and Google and all that, if you log into any of your social sites, it doesn't really matter if you're using Tor or not. They pretty much can watch your activity if they so choose. Plain, simple. They can watch anything you do, and that applies to Outlook.com or Hotmail. Well, it used to be Hotmail. I think they switched it all to Outlook.com now. Mail.ru, Mail.com, any of those. And there's another thing about the Tor browser, and now bear in mind, I am not the smartest motherfucker in the world. However, within about a week, see, I had read an article about, could someone monitor an exit node? Well, if someone had a relay set up and the traffic was exiting that relay via FDDI, a second machine could monitor everything coming out of the relay. And quite frankly, by having that relay, you have the key. You have everything you need to crack it. It only took me about a week to figure out how. So you better believe that someone at the NSA, because them boys are a lot smarter than me, someone at the NSA figured this out probably in 2 seconds, and I doubt that they would go to that kind of expense because, number one, you'd have the expense of a relay, a machine to monitor the relay, and then it'd be a bit of a gamble because there's honest, legitimate relays out there that have nothing to do with anything on a federal government leased or owned IP address and or range of IPs. So, you know, they couldn't guarantee that you would be going through their relays at all times. I mean, it might make their life a little bit easier at X and Y point, but it would be too random and not worth their time to fuck with. And again, who knows? I very seriously doubt that there's a way to force traffic to route through their servers. Extremely doubt that. But the Tor browser itself, with its little proxy, all it does is keep you safe. I'm going to illustrate a different way here, and even though we know that those two machines are tied together, the Tor browser goes from your machine through a relay, sometimes through several, and then as it exits the last relay, it goes out as normal web traffic to whatever your destination was. Which is kind of interesting, because that's where the breach comes in. That's where its vulnerability comes in. That's where it can be monitored. However, like I said, I doubt that they would go to that kind of expense because it's too much of a gamble. They can't guarantee that traffic would be going through their machines. It'd be a big waste of their time and taxpayer dollars. And a point the lady raised this morning was that as she was signing into, I can't remember, she had signed into both sites. I can't remember if it was Google Plus or Facebook, but one of them asked them, sent a verification code to her cell phone. So, were she not just some overly paranoid old lady, which I've called her that to her face, so it's safe to say here. Were that not the case, were she actually wanted by them or something, or any other branch of the government, when they sent that text to her cell phone to give her the code, well, if the site in question is being monitored as closely as we think, she just gave away her location, so if she was on the run, that'd be some really stupid shit to do. And like with Facebook, I know whenever I log in from a strange machine, it wants me to identify pictures of my friends, or it wants me to on one of my little test accounts, I play with the Facebook API a little bit in the background, and I keep a test account just for that purpose, you know, separate from my own in case I fuck something up or whatever, you know. I'm just not doing anything wrong, not violating their terms of service as far as I know, but when I hit that account, there's no friends on it, and it just asks me a security question. Big deal. Okay, great. It asks me my first pet's name before it lets me log in. Oh, it makes me solve the CAPTCHA before it even gives me that option. Yeah, it tells me some shit about your account is temporarily locked, blah blah blah. Here, solve the CAPTCHA. Here's a security question. You know, those are ways, but you know, they still know that you access to your account. And if they're actually watching you and watching what you're doing, well, hey, fuck it, they don't have to worry about how you're getting there from your home machine to there. And if they have tagged your home router or your home machine by MAC address, or if you've taken your little laptop to, you know, using the same fucking MAC address all the fucking time, you know, you go set up the hotspot and, damn, you're tagged. A lot of these hotspots, you can pretty much get everybody's MAC address on that's attached to the hotspot from an upstream router, because, like I say, these end user grade or home grade routers, they're pretty fucking vulnerable. And pretty much anybody will tell you that even the commercial grade routers like Firebox or that Cisco Catalyst 7000 rack that's sitting over there right now, they're in their default configuration, they're pretty vulnerable. And back on Windows itself, in its default configuration, it's pretty vulnerable. They can tag you pretty easy. You want a keylogger that virus detectors or virus scanners cannot find, you better believe it exists. And by the way, Microsoft is so far in bed with the federal government, it's pathetic. They own, that's where Security Essentials comes from. Microsoft bought out a good chunk of McAfee. So you better believe if there's a back door, potentially, Microsoft would allow, potentially, could be allowing, possibly are allowing certain things to go under the radar. And yes, I'm just wiped out this machine. I'm putting Windows on it. Strangely enough, I'm going to put Linux on it right behind it, and that way there is nothing. I'm literally going to fill the drive, and it'll have migrated through 3 different file systems by the time I'm done. Which is about the best way to wipe a drive. You can forget all that's sitting there. Oh, NSA security erasure, 256 passes. Yeah. The boys at OnTrack will tell you, yeah, it's hard to beat, but that can be beaten too. If you use products like Windows Live Essentials, using your little Tor browser in the manner that she was, basically a joke. Because say you go into your picture manager and you have put in your account and told it to save your username and password. What is a picture manager? It comes with Essentials. Windows Live Photo Gallery or some shit like that. Tell how often I fuck with Windows. SkyDrive. Oh yeah, store your stuff in the cloud. If you're trying to hide something, just go on ahead and store it in the cloud where it's being monitored. That's really fucking brilliant, right? You know what I'm saying? Messenger. Yeah, I just logged in with Tor browser, I'm all safe, but I've got Messenger going at the same time and it's not using the proxy. Get the idea? Yahoo, again. You know, if they're watching it, if they're watching you or they're watching your friends, or if they're watching your traffic for any reason, you log in, they know you're there. If they already know the MAC address of your machine or your cell phone number and they really want to find you, they can. It's not that much effort. Might take them a couple hours to find a computer out in La La Land, and again, hell, you never know. They might be a lot quicker than I think they are. But to find a cell phone by a phone number, Takes them a couple of seconds. Probably takes longer to type in the number than it does to find the phone. I'm kidding. It takes, yeah, roughly a minute. Sometimes two. And they may have quicker shit than I've ever seen. So, you know, the safest thing to do, I mean, if you're not worried about anything that you're doing, fuck it, let them watch it. Big deal. You know, what are they going to, you know, they watch me, what are they going to find out? I click like on a bunch of relatively attractive women, mostly Chinese gals, a few dominatrix types, but unfortunately I don't get very many of those in my stream. But quite frankly, for the average user running Windows anything, to remain anonymous on the internet, yeah, they can run Tor as long as all they're doing is just cruising the internet, not logging into anything. And believe it or not, there are chat boards that you don't have to log into. There are entire message boards that you do not have to log into. You can always create an emergency Twitter or Facebook account, you know, using mail.com and leave a message on somebody's page or whatever. That's always a possibility. And then just either delete or zombie the account after that one use. But that's a lot of hassle, you know. I just fucking upload shit, fuck them. Keep uploading, keep uploading, keep uploading. You know, click like, talk to whoever the fuck I want. If people start talking about something illegal, well, I just break the conversation and go off and cruise another site for a while until they've given up and gone to bed or whatever. That's just me. But really, to keep yourself, if you're trying to hide from the government, your best bet is to throw your cell phone away, learn what a prepaid phone card is, use random pay phones, don't call any of your friends or family more than once every couple of months. I pray like hell that if they really want you, that they're not listening and monitoring your friends and family, and you're not dumb enough to give away a location. I'm not willing to prove it to the rest of the internet, but I have proven over the past over the past week that, yeah, Tor itself can be monitored as it leaves a node, and I just found one way. There's probably 10 more. As it leaves a relay, your traffic can be monitored, which, like I said, that's a hassle. That would be a major pain in the ass for the federal government to undertake such a thing. And it would be a gamble because they couldn't guarantee the traffic would be going through their machines. It's a lot easier for them to monitor the sites, monitor the traffic going in and out of the sites that you would log into, which, from what I understand, they are doing. Kind of curious why they haven't defunded that whole prison thing. I really am curious about that. Why wasn't it immediately defunded if it's violating everybody's Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights? I could see them surveilling people overseas, but just can't see them holding every American under some sort of surveillance. You know, that's like this new thing that Obama's got now. If you work for the federal government and you see your fellow federal employee exhibiting any kind of unusual activity, you know, like say Billy Bob, his buddy came into town last night and all of a sudden he's going to take Friday off on a sick day and get on the bikes and see if they can't make Colorado and then be back Monday morning in time for work. Some people might consider that unusual behavior. Me, I consider that rest and relaxation. You know what I'm saying? And you know, to me, Obama wants everybody in the federal government to rat each other out. And to me, I kind of agree with the person who said that the threat to national security is not those in government who would expose corruption in our government. The threat to national security is those who seek to hide corruption in our government. It's my honest belief. It's not a quote from me. But yeah, that makes a lot more sense than what they're saying. You know, the IRS targeting the Tea Party and the Republicans and basically anybody in favor of the Constitution. Yeah, that's definitely, and the EPA doing the same. Department of Justice doing the same. Yeah, and then they're ignoring the Muslims. They're literally under orders not to perform any acts of surveillance on the mosques or known Muslim terrorists, Islamic terrorists, and target Tea Party people and blah, 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 etc. Ad nauseum. You get the idea. Instead. Yeah, I might just be a dumbass redneck, but that seems like a real breach to national security to me. I mean, didn't they just miss the Boston bombers because of that policy? Well, okay, not just, that's been a few months ago, but you know what I mean. And it does go to the level of even congressmen and senators. Even senators on Obama's own team were being monitored. Aides to them were being monitored. And meanwhile, we've got goof-ups like the Social Security Administration, or no, it was the IRS dumping 100,000 Social Security numbers right out there raw on the web. Yeah, let's give 1 million free illegal aliens some free ID, because if you've got the Social Security number, you can find the name that goes with it and the date of birth and the place of birth too. You might not get the 15-year-old script kiddie to do it, but the 20-year-old can do it for you. And no, I am not one of those script kiddies. In fact, I frown on them. Anyone that knows me will tell you when I first retired, I did a Computers for Kids project right here out of the house for a couple of years. And the deal was, I was literally buying them by the semi-loads. I had several hospitals donating machines, some in exchange for a little bit of IT work, and some were just donating because they liked what I was doing. I had guys on eBay putting up auctions just for me. Hey man, we don't want to deal with this shit. You want a whole semi-load? Okay. But anybody that knows me will tell you that the ones who were interested in becoming script kiddies, you see, I don't call those hackers, because me, a hacker, my definition of a hacker is someone who just gets the job done. They stay at it until it's done. That's what the old definition was. Somehow along the way, Hollywood turned it into, yeah, I guess anybody that's a hacker is a script kiddie now. But there's a big difference between the two. And a lot of what I've had to do to keep the marina secure, you know, I've had to actually learn how to punch these machines just so I know how to keep people the fuck out of them. and I'll tell you firsthand that yes, you can lock a Windows machine down reasonably secure. However, I think the reason that in their default configurations, be it Windows 3.1 all the way through 7 and now 8, I think the reason that in their default configuration they're so loose on security is for the convenience of the end user. And the perfect example, for a little while Microsoft tried to tighten things down with Vista. Remember? You had that annoying pop-up every time you clicked something, every time you tried to install something, and you had that a little bit with 7. And it drove end users crazy, and nobody liked Vista as a result. So, 7, it was a lot more lax. Some of the features were just kind of automated. I.e., if it's a known software company and it's a safe certificate, blah, 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 it would just automatically do it. Or automatically allow it. Or you could at least tell it, hey, don't fucking nag me anymore. Vista, you could, you had to edit the registry, you could get it to not nag you anymore. Which was kind of pointless if your goal was security or anonymity. It was kind of pointless and kind of stupid if you did that. But at the same time, well, the whole point of that is the reason that out of the box, as shipped, a raw install of Microsoft Windows anything is unsecure is it's for the convenience of the end user. All these little nag screens that you don't like seeing, well, if you want a secure machine, you're going to see those nag screens, or you're not going to be able to use location services, or you're not going to be able to, you're going to shut off NetBIOS, et cetera, ad nauseum. So it's not really Microsoft's fault, it's more the consumer's fault. In the Linux world, yeah, okay, SUSE's probably the tightest security there is out of the box. Raw install out of the box. Ubuntu is probably second runner-up. I haven't played with Red Hat for a while, but it used to be number 8 or 9 as far as I could get into Red Hat pretty fucking easy. And then it became Fedora Core, blah, 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 blah. And you can call it Fedora Core all you want, I still call it Red Hat. But, and again, say you hook up your iPhone to your Windows machine, and you have to install iTunes. Well, you've got a couple of choices. You can have Bonjour, configure your router, if you're dumb enough to install it. And it's kind of dependent on UPnP, Universal Plug and Play. If you have UPnP turned on in your router, I'll tell you right now, there's a billion script kiddies out there that are saying, thank you for all those extra open ports. And the same thing applies to Bonjour users. It's really that bad. If you want a safe, a lot more secure system in Windows, I would recommend SUSE Linux. OpenSUSE.org is where you download it. But basically, for the average person's surfing habits, because that lady that I talked to this morning was not the first one. She's just the one I'm using for an example. And this is in the past couple of weeks, a month or so. She was not the first one. Basically, if you're going to be on the internet, don't do nothing you got to hide from. Don't say nothing you're going to regret later. Simple as that. Or just cruise sites, look at shit, don't never put nothing up. A couple of choices there, I guess. Alright. Oh yeah, and the brilliant people that are buying their cell phones on eBay, I was reading about this on one of the forums. I think it was a little chat thread off the MSDN. We were laughing about somebody. He mentioned out in the open forum that he bought a cell phone on eBay and he was going to be hidden because he was going to put a prepaid chip in it. Well, paid for the shit with his own credit card. Well, if they're watching everybody's banking transactions and the company, you know, most of these eBay guys are eBay stores, and they'll send you an invoice, your credit card will show up with what you bought. So we were kind of laughing about that. Because he kind of didn't have the sense to go down and buy a prepaid credit card to make that purchase with. And didn't have the sense to have it sent to his neighbor's address. You know how that goes. So now that the myth of internet anonymity has been debunked, we'll holler at y'all fuckers and fuck yous later. I got some work to do.